The doctors, the EMTs, how are they coping in the aftermath? And what if they were missing their own relatives while they were saving the lives of those injured? Joining me now is Dr. Lena Wen. She's an emergency room physician who was working at Massachusetts General Hospital the day of the terror attack. She also works at Brigham and Women's Hospital. So you were at Massachusetts General Monday. What happened?
Oh, it was a horrific day. We had no idea what was coming. It was 3 o'clock and we heard that there were 2 explosions, but we didn't know where. We had no idea how many people were coming to us.
How many people came?
It seemed like dozens, and it was. It was probably nearly 3 dozen patients in 2 hours or so.
And was the hospital ready for it? I've heard from Dr. Walls from the other Brigham and Women's Hospital that because of all the drills the hospitals here have been running since 9/11, you were unbelievably prepared.
Technically and medically, we were ready. We had done drills. We knew what to do with each individual patient who came in. But I've never seen trauma like this before. The volume and the nature of the trauma was really chilling and really shocking.
And on a personal note, you hadn't yet heard from your husband while this was all going on, and then you hear a cell phone ring. You reach into your pocket, but it wasn't your cell phone ringing.
Yeah, so we actually live just a block away from here, from Copley Square. And my husband had told me that he was coming to watch at the finish line. And then we heard that the explosions happened. So while I was treating patients, I had no idea whether the next patient was going to be my husband. I really thought, because there was soot and blood everywhere, I thought there was a good chance that the next patient I'd be seeing on the stretcher would turn out to be my husband.
But he was okay.
He ended up being unharmed, but I couldn't reach him for hours because of phone lines being full and all these things. So.
One of the things that Dr. Walls told me is that he talked to his protege who works in Colorado and dealt with the Aurora shootings.
Right.
And he said, what's one piece of advice? And he said, we took care of our people, the emotional trauma that they felt, but you can always do more. It still wasn't enough. Have you found that? Or are the doctors and nurses and others who work at the hospital, are they still dealing with this and struggling with it?
Absolutely. I know that. I certainly do. I have nightmares, and whenever I hear sirens or the loudspeaker for the ambulance going off, I think about Monday. And it's something that I know I have to do better at. I need to take care of myself and our colleagues in order for us to take care of our patients going forward too.
Well, thank you for the work you do, Dr. Wen, and I'm glad you're okay, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
If you want to travel, you better go get that vaccine. If you wish to have these privileges, you need to get vaccinated.
This really depends on what it is that we do at this point. So now we have this Delta variant that is much more contagious. Because it's more contagious, it's going to be even harder for us to reach herd immunity. We're going to have to vaccinate an even higher proportion of people to get there. What happens then if we end up having another variant developing that's even more contagious, that could cause more disease, that could evade the protection of our immune system? And so how quickly we get this under control and which way we go depends on what we do now when it comes to vaccination, to overcoming disinformation. And what we really need to do at this point is to make vaccination the easy choice. It needs to be hard for people to remain unvaccinated. Right now, it's kind of the opposite. It's fine. I mean, it's easy if you're unvaccinated. You can do everything you want to do anyway. But at some point, these mandates by workplaces, by schools, I think it will be important to say, hey, you can opt out, but if you want to opt out, you have to sign these forms. You have to get twice weekly testing. Basically, we need to make getting vaccinated the easy choice. That is what it's going to take for us to actually end the pandemic.
All right, Dr. Lena Wen, Max Booth.
We need to make it clear to them that the vaccine is the ticket back to pre-pandemic life. We need to make it clear to them that the vaccine is the ticket back to pre-pandemic. Otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? The carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that's why I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have. Because otherwise, people are going to go out and enjoy these freedoms anyway.